your first day on board the ship, you faced some challenges there.
I joined my first ship in Vancouver, Canada. The first day I was a little confused, obviously, because never seen such a big ship. The first 6 months went very well. The next 6 months were not so good. Chief officer came who wasn't so kind to me. So then you realize that how tough life can be.
My first day at ship, I was resting in my cabin and I heard the announcement, all the ship's personnel are requested to leave the ship as the ship is sinking. I was like, what the hell did I hear? How did the idea of Shipskart? I heard you bought the domain well before you started the company.
As I said that we were sitting and Vivek and my batchmates and he mentioned about the Amazon for ships. I bought shipskart.com knowing that one day I will start this company.
Where do you see shipping industry in terms of digitization in next 5 to 10 years?
I think it's a very good time for people like us to be in the industry. Companies are more open to digitalization. If you do not join the digitalization, then you will fall behind.
How could somebody use LinkedIn to pitch their idea to investors?
You know, you cannot start by writing a big message during your first conversation. So the best part is to just take an email address politely.
So guys, today I have a very good friend of mine, my batchmate, who has been a former captain and the founder and CEO of the Amazon of Maritime industry, Shipskart, Captain Dhruv Sawhney. Dhruv, welcome to the podcast, Port to Port.
Thanks, Rajat. Thanks. Wonderful to see you after so many years.
Yeah.
And wonderful to be here. I mean, you're doing a great job. And looking forward to how this podcast shapes up.
Guys, just to tell you, it was a very last minute thing. I couldn't find any studio around Delhi. So at the moment we are sitting in Shipskart office and this is like fabulous, Dhruv. You have created amazing office, man.
Thank you very much. We just, in fact, shifted to this office about 3 months back. We were in a smaller place, but we're expanding rapidly. So moved to a new office 3 months back. And yeah, it's nice to be here.
Perfect. I mean, we will get to the Shipskart later on. But Dhruv, I want to know, how did you join shipping? What happened in your life that pushed you to the ships or the seas?
So I knew very little about the maritime industry. I did not have anybody from my family who was part of this industry. And I remember one day we were coming back from a cricket match when one of my friends, who always knew that he wanted to join the maritime industry, always, you know, from the time I think he was in class 7th or 8th, he knew that he has to join.
Is it someone that I know of?
No, you would not know of him. His uncle was a captain also, and that's why he's always inclined. He's still sailing, and he mentioned to me. I think we had just cleared our 12th, or which the exams were about to happen for class 12th, and he told me about the maritime industry, and I mean my knowledge about the industry was so lean that I thought the maritime industry was all about cruise ships, and did not even know that, okay, you know, this is merchant navy is all about cargo ships. So I happened to call on a Sunday to ARI, our institute, where I finally actually went, and the guard told me that it's a Sunday, everything is closed. So I found more and more about it.
So you went on Sunday to ARI?
No, we did not go. I just gave them a call.
Okay.
So yeah, gradually, as you know, discovered more about the industry. My father discussed it within his office, and to my good luck, one of his colleagues' son was, appearing for his second mates. So he guided me a lot. He's still in Delhi, and he guided me a lot. So yeah, that's where the journey began, and that's where we are now.
Something similar happened with me. So I was preparing for IIT. I mean, all of us have gone through the same route, and this guy, he went on the ship, he comes back wearing the branded clothes, and he's talking about Egypt, Suez Canal, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's making like, I mean, 24,000 rupees that time, man. $300, $400. It was a
Cadet.
lot of money as a cadet.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fabulous, man.
We started similar wages, that time, yeah.
So, what cemented your decision, or you were looking for options too?
To be very honest, I've always wanted to become a cricketer.
For me, you look more like an actor.
Thank you to you for saying that. But always wanted to be a cricketer. But I don't know what transpired during the 10th and 11th class that I could not cope up with studies and cricket together. So I left cricket, though I had all the support from my parents. And then Merchant Navy came about, and I joined. I did not even, wanted to, after cricket, wanted to pursue, to be a pilot, in the aircraft pilot,
Aircraft
right?
formula. Yeah.
And but I think it was too much for me to expect my parents to put in that much amount of money that time.
True.
So that also phased out, and then Merchant Navy, the idea to join Merchant Navy came about. The money always excites everybody, right? And I was no different. In fact,
True.
it excited me even more
True.
at that stage, and it still does. So,
Right.
Merchant Navy happened, and then the rest is, as they say, is history.
Okay, so Dhruv, tell me about your cadetship, your first day on board the ship, or was it like really good, or was it okay, or you faced some challenges there?
Yeah, so we joined. I joined my first ship. I was a gearbulk cadet, and I joined my first ship in Vancouver, in Canada, and joined with the second engineer there. And the first day was I was a little confused, obviously, because never seen such a big ship. So somebody dropped me off, helped me with my luggage, dropped me to my cabin, and then I did not know the way down. So just happened to reach the the mess room, and the officer's mess room. Somebody told me where to take the plates, and
Have
how to
food, yeah.
serve yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember, and had good people on board that time, and that's something that is very important when you join for the first time. The first 6 months went very well. There was a few officers' family was on board, so he was very happy. So yeah, the first 6 months went off very well. The next 6 months were not so good. Uh, a chief officer came who wasn't so kind to me. So then you realize that how tough life can be, and that too when you're on your first ship, 19 years old. So it was tough, right? Second ship was also tough. Again, the first 6 months, and the next 6 months, you're so used to this life that you realize, that you've covered half the distance, right? The only time I've actually thought of, quitting was during the second ship, the first 6 months. That's
As a cadet.
Yeah, it was very hard, right? So I remember calling my brother and telling him that it's too hard. People are so nasty and rude. So, but then again, you've always been with your parents, never stayed out, never stayed alone. So life can be very tough alone. But yeah, gradually you get used to the life, and I think the experiences teach you a lot, because now you know that when you become an officer, how you should not treat people. So that's a learning that I took from that ship.
Also, I feel that, when you go through so much of hardship, then hardship becomes your nature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
It's
don't
like,
settle for small things. You always inspire for more, right?
absolutely. So the same thing happened, right? You get to know about how you need to treat your juniors, and already seen so much in the initial stage, in the initial years only, that you know that what worse can happen, right?
True, true.
It will only get better from here.
I'll tell you my first day at ship. So, I was with SCI. And as SCI cadet, you get white boiler suit with the SCI logo on the back. I was like fascinated. Wow, this is like. I boarded the ship, and ship, on the tanker, you have this alleging going on. Ships are being alleged, right? I saw a couple of ABs wearing orange boiler suit. I was like, wow, I'm an officer cadet, right? So that's why I'm
Yeah,
wearing
yeah,
white
yeah.
boiler suit. So chief officer said, okay, you take this MMC machine, because
Yeah.
you know that, right?
Yeah.
You take this MMC, go around and allege all the tanks. And they send one, maybe a trainee AB or someone with me. Um, by the time I completed all the tanks, my boiler suit was black because we were carrying fuel oil.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell just happened? Okay, next day morning we were sailing. So I was resting in my room, my cabin, and I heard the announcement, all the ship's personnel are requested to leave the ship as the ship is sinking.
Okay.
I was like, what the hell did I hear? So I got panicked, like, अभी तो जहाज join किया साला जहाज ही डूब गया. I went out, I just asked like people, what was the announcement? Ship is sinking. No, ship, all the shore personnel were requested to leave the ship
Oh.
because the ship is sailing.
Oh, so you thought it's sinking?
I may be half asleep. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
like, so that was funny,
Scary.
man. That was funny. Anyway, so after that, about your further cadetship, it was all smooth.
Yeah, all well. I mean, yeah, cadetship was never a problem afterwards.
Okay. What about the second mate exam orals? How many attempts?
Second mates, I gave, I think, what? I flunked in one. one subject in my second mate's returns. Can't remember which subject was it. I think it was maybe cargo work or navigation, or can't remember. But yes, one exam, and thereafter I gave about like 3 attempts, but which was like a normal for,
You're talking about second mates.
yeah, second mates, which was like a norm to, if you passed in three, you were okay. If you passed in two, you were good, and if you passed in one, you were excellent. So yeah, it is frustrating. I mean, if you keep, have to repeat the exam and again, study the same thing. But yeah, second mates, yes, 3 attempts I was able to clear.
Yeah, similar with me. But you remember we used to hear this story that if the examiner likes you, he will ask your father's name. If he doesn't like you, he'll ask his father's name.
I can't seem to remember that part. But yes, I mean, second mates, orals are always they have a bit of luck factor attached to it, right?
True.
So if the, the divine powers are with you that day, you will make through.
Yeah, it's just like 15-20 minutes. But then you can always give like 2 months, 3 months. So, how about mates? Was it?
Mates, I cleared everything. Surprisingly, I mates also, I phase one, I passed all one shot. Phase two, I think I flunked in one paper, EK, engineering knowledge.
Oh yeah, there was
Yeah.
a subject. Yeah,
Yes,
you
yes.
remember the
Yeah,
name?
yeah, because I flunked in it, so I remember. And then
Okay.
then the orals, I think I took again about around 3 attempts, right, to clear. But masters was the one where I cleared the orals and writtens both in first attempt. So
Wow, that's
so yeah,
interesting,
so
man.
and yeah, so this is something that unusually happened with me.
True, true.
That
It's very unusually it
yes,
happens like, yeah.
masters, you normally don't clear the at least the orals in the first attempt. So I was the only person in that room that day. About 12 to 13 candidates were there, and I cleared. I just took the
Was it in Mumbai or Delhi?
Chennai, and I took the result sheet and just ran, so that I'm not coming back to this place ever again.
Interesting. Um, so masters is done. You were sailing with which company?
So I was sailing with the company called Bourbon Offshore.
Bourbon.
My last 7 years, I sailed with Bourbon, and that's actually been the turning point also of my
Yeah,
life.
I was about to come to that question. Like, how did you leave sailing and join ashore? Or were you working at some job
No,
first, or?
no. So the Bourbon Offshore was offshore ships. So I was still sailing. But it was two on, two off. It was a French company, possibly the biggest possibly the biggest offshore company at that time. And I worked with them for about 7 years, and was working in places like Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and it's like the best life that you
Offshore
can.
means drilling and
Yes, yes. So
DP ships.
yeah, DP ships. So I was basically providing logistics to the rigs, oil rigs. So worked from 2010 to 2014, sorry, 2017 with them. 7 years I was with them, and possibly the best time I had, the best friends that I made, and yeah, it was like the most wonderful company that I ever worked in.
The DP ships had its peak, and then after that, it started going. What happened to that
So
market?
basically, the oil prices, oil prices, they were about at $140 a barrel at that time, and I think in 2012 or 13, it crashed to about $40 and 35, $38 also, right? So that's when the crash happened, right? When the oil prices came down.
Went down.
Yeah, so the salaries were reduced. The ships were off-hired because the demand was less. The demand was less. The production was more. So yeah, that was a bad time, but it was you still were very okay that you still have a job.
True.
You're still earning less, maybe 30% of pay
Less.
cut,
Yeah.
but
Still have a
yeah,
job.
and plus, people in the offshore industry were earning that time when at its peak. People in the offshore industry were earning. I mean, a second officer was earning close to $450 a day, right? Which
Correct.
was more than what a bulk carrier master or a tanker captain was earning,
True.
right? So people made their money also
Yeah.
a lot. So yeah, I think people were very okay just to have a job.
Yeah, because I know a couple of my friends, in fact, my seniors, who shifted to DP, and then they came back to
Yes.
main fleet just because of salary. Or
Yes, possible, because See, if you joined DP around 2010-11, it was
It
fine.
was okay.
It was fine. And but and plus if you were at a lower position, lower rank, then it was okay. But if you joined it later, from if you're there were so many captains who actually ventured into DP and they had to actually come down to a second officer position
Second
also.
officer. Correct.
They got promoted quickly, but they had to. So it's a very difficult thing, if you want to come down again.
Correct.
So but the contract was so small. You were always around the port.
True.
If there is an emergency at home, you can always go back. So all these things were what made the job very lucrative that time.
True. True. And used to get like chopper drive as well.
That was primarily for drill ships or rigs. Our ships came to port every week, twice or thrice, depending on how busy their trip was. But we used to join normally in the port.
So how did the transition happen? Now let's come to this question.
From
From sailing to
So
shore.
I remember one of our batchmates, in fact, Vivek, right? We were all four of us were sitting and drinking at one of Delhi's pubs, and Vivek had just started with. He was, I think, a few years old, 5 years old, into Dine Out, his company.
Oh, dine out. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
So, and uh, and he said that there should be something like an Amazon for the maritime industry,
You
and
don't want to talk about DV?
oh yes, the that
Yeah,
that
so the transition from
okay,
sailing
okay.
to shore.
Okay, so DV, as I said, that Bourbon had a huge role to play in in my career, in my career growth. Um, when I was in Bourbon, I actually I was very close to the management. I was very close to people sitting in the office, and I did recommend a few people that these guys are good. We should hire them. They'll be assets to the company. These guys turned out to be real smart and good, and that's what tempted me to start a crew management company which is offering crewing services, ship personnel, to various offshore companies. And in fact, such a big company that time, Bourbon, was our first client. So I started DEEVEE Ship Management, a
Yeah, I
company.
remember you called me one fine
Yes,
evening
yes,
and like,
yes, yes, yes,
Rajat, let's do something together. But
yes.
I was not sure what are we getting into. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but glad
So
you started it finally,
yeah,
right?
and we did very well. In fact, so we started this company in 2013, and I had like no clue how to take the RPSL. The RPSL got rejected once, then I tried again. I remember going with my father to the to the Ballard Estate MMD office that time, and submitting the documents. It got rejected. I had no clue how to do it. Found out whatever information I could from the internet, and yeah. So second attempt we got the license, and I started the company on my parents' name, DV. So it's DEEVE, Deep and Veena, right? So yeah, so we started the company, and I think I parted ways with the company. We did very well. I think in that course of 10 years, not 10 years, but yeah, about 7, 8 years, we every year in the later stages, we every year we had at any given point of time we had about 200 people on board.
Wow.
So for a company as small
Yeah.
as ours, working with
I
only
mean,
the
you started it solo, man. This is an
yeah,
achievement.
and any company with that limited,
Resources. Yeah.
resources, I think we were doing very well. So, had good times. In fact, COVID also, when there was nobody joining, we made decent amount of money, and then I parted ways because my primary focus then became Shipskart. So
Yeah, let's come to Shipskart. Like, how did the idea of Shipskart? I heard you bought the domain well before you started the
yeah,
company,
yeah.
right?
So as I said that we were sitting and with Vivek and my batchmates, and he
Right.
mentioned about the Amazon for ships. And I remember coming back home that night, or maybe the next night, I booked the domain. So I wanted to buy shipcart.com, ships, not Shipskart. So, but the Shipcart domain was not available. You had to buy it for $2,000. I was like, why? Just an S is better than buying
Yeah.
it for $2,000. So I bought shipscart.com, and knowing that um, one day I will start this company, right? That was, I think, in 2016, maybe 2016, yeah. And I was always so excited about, the company, that this is what we'll
This
do,
is a
this is
big
what we'll
name,
do.
yeah. Shipskart is
Yeah,
very
so
big name. Yeah.
that time there was this thing in India, right? That any online e-commerce company that you're opening you should have cart attached
Cart,
to it, right?
correct, correct, correct.
So so that's when this idea happened, and yes, then 2016, I think we purchased the domain. I purchased it, then I started sharing this idea with a lot of people, and then discussed it with Sunny, my partner and friend, at one of the parties again, and he came on board. The difficult problem, it was difficult for him actually to leave his job because he was in a corporate,
So
job.
tell me the background of Sunny. I don't know him.
Sunny is a qualified is a, for is a by qualification he's a lawyer, but by profession he's always looked after the the finance departments.
Oh, Sunny,
Uh,
we just met today.
yes, we
Ah,
just
okay.
met, right?
Okay.
So and then Vivek was my pre-C batchmate. We did our pre-C together in at ARI, and
Dine
and
out
then
guy?
no, the other Vivek, and you did not meet him, I think. So and then we also sailed together in Bourbon, right? So yeah, he was the third one to join us. And 2017, I think all of us had left our jobs. I did my last ship that time, and yeah, then slowly we started progressing.
But who was handling the tech part? You never mentioned that.
Yeah, so the tech
How
was
did because see, the problem with us is we don't know the tech.
yes,
And this
and
is the tech startup,
yes, it's
right?
a serious problem. So,
Yeah.
so again, we made a few mistakes. We
Outsourced?
we outsourced it. Outsourced never works.
Never,
Never
never.
works. Until and unless you don't have anybody who's basically, full time working with you, putting his job on the line, putting his sort of his professional life
You
on the
sweat,
line.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, so we made that mistake. So we made a platform, wasn't very good, and again,
So this was 2016,
2017,
2017.
2017.
So you discussed the idea with your
Yeah,
friends in
we've got the
16,
platform made, everything done, but it wasn't that great.
and till that time you haven't taken funding. It was bootstrap.
Nothing. Bootstrap. So I think 2018 is when we actually started looking at the investment. So I would reach out to my, bosses at Bourbon and, get them to put small check. And I think we raised close to, in the first year, we raised close to about say 80-90 thousand dollars, which was pretty decent
Pretty decent.
at that time, and people were banking, on more than they were
More on the
banking on
team,
more
yeah,
on the
for sure,
team rather
for
than
sure. Yeah,
the idea was great,
yeah.
but we had nothing to show
True,
that time,
true.
right? So we had the platform, but not very impressive. But then we got through T9 Labs, which is was an incubator in Delhi itself, right? So they helped us. They made the platform that we have. They made it for us. So
Very
then we
interesting.
had their team join us full time, and yeah, so that was again a turning point for us, that we got to know that such a company exists, which actually
Mentored you.
not just mentored, but like we did not know anything about
True.
XYZ, about not even forget XYZ, not ABC of
Tech.
technology, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now, as you see, we have a full blown
Very
tech team
interesting.
that we have, but that was again a very big turning point for us.
So before you had this T9 incubation, were you able to generate business through the existing platform or
Not really.
not really?
See, again, it's a challenge for people to use an online platform also, especially in our industry, which is very
True,
traditional.
true, true.
And anything that you have to do with the IT, you have to take a lot of management approvals, right? So it was tough. So, but we were doing whatever we could to keep the ball rolling, keep the revenue flowing. So we did whatever by manual means, by any means, platform means we could do, but we did not leave the revenue at all.
Very
Whether
interesting.
we had to do it manually for that time, whether we had to train people to use it, use our online platform, we just kept the ball rolling.
Very interesting. So, so Dhruv, where are we now with Shipskart? How much you raised? What about the expansion plans? Why don't you tell us about this?
So we have been now in the business uh, for around 6 years now, right? So we finished 6 years this month, last month in October, operationally, right? The company got incorporated in 2017, but 6 years of full 6 years of operations, right? So now, right now, we are a team of about 90 plus people. We are headquartered in Singapore. We have offices in the major port states where we have warehouses. So we have a warehouse in Mumbai, Chennai, Gujarat, Cochin, a smaller warehouse in Cochin, and we have our corporate office here in Delhi because the founders stay here.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was an obvious choice to have the office in a non-port state, and yeah, we have raised close to $4 million so far. We are in the midst of a fundraise, our Series A fundraise round, and we, for the last 4 years, for the last 3 years, in fact, we have doubled our sales by at least 60 to 70%. So
Wow.
last year we finished at about $10.5 million of
Sales.
sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have the backing of good investors, all strategic, all from the maritime industry, all who understand the product very well. So yeah, we've been very fortunate to get,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
For
if
sure.
you get a bad investor, then you're spending more time pleasing them than on the business. So we were very fortunate that
You
we
found
got.
the right investors.
Absolutely, we are so fortunate that we have complete backing of our investors, and yeah, so that was a very big thing. Again, right place, right time, things working out for us, and as I said, now we're in the midst of a fundraise round. We are looking at acquiring a company.
Wow.
Yeah, so a
Interesting.
European company. We're looking at acquiring that, so that will again add,
Vertical to your company.
yes, and
Yeah.
not
Very
only a
interesting.
vertical, but it'll add in a big way to our sales every year. And we're looking at expansion in different ways and adding different verticals. Adding a fintech element, within Shipskart, a lending element, right? So there are a lot of things that we are looking at right now, but the company is blossoming.
So, Dhruv, how does Shipskart work? Why didn't you tell our audience?
So Shipskart, essentially, the idea was to build an Amazon like procurement platform wherein you can just log in, look at the products, look at the technical specification of a product, look at the images, look at the brand details, the technical data sheets, whatever information you would require before buying a product. You should have all that information available to you. How you would normally look at an Amazon-like
Amazon.
website,
Yeah.
right? So that was the intention of starting Shipskart, and we are very happy with what progress we've made. In terms of, if you go to our website, you'll be able to see such products with live pricing. This is work in progress, so obviously you will see more products having live pricing, because we have to understand that we're looking at a industry which has a global audience, global reach, global users, right? So we have to onboard ship suppliers from globally, right? So we basically are right now, we have a few revenue models that we operate. One of them is that we provide a SaaS based platform to any company which has an ERP software. So Shipskart can be integrated with that platform, that ERP, and you can utilize our catalog, all the features that we have. Just to name a few, we have a feature like track your truck. So today you can, like how you track your Uber, you can track your deliveries, by just clicking on a link, right? So you can have live pricing. Some such things have not been heard in the maritime industry. If you want to buy a bearing, you will have the picture of that bearing, the brand name, the description, the technical data sheets. Again, such things have not been heard in the maritime industry, and
Yeah,
you
not
can.
in digital form. I mean,
Yes.
we used to have Impa.
Yes, yes. So we basically and we have you actually have an app also.
True.
So you can create requisitions on app. You can approve requisitions on app. So we are taking maritime procurement to the next level. So that is something that we have. Then we have the marketplace where anybody can just come and buy, and
So it's B2B also,
it's B2B.
B2C as well.
It's not primarily B2C, but
Okay.
if you're buying on the online marketplace also, then also your company has to be registered with us. So you can shop as you shop on Amazon.
Yeah.
You add the products to the cart, and you can then go to the main platform, and the products would still be there. The
Okay.
the the carts are synced together, right? So This is one of the features we provide people who do not want to use the technology. We provide them quotations in the format that they require. Plus, we have warehouses in India. So India is a big market for us, very strategic. You know, you will not have, if I asked you who's the topmost ship supplier in India, you will never be able to give me an answer because, you know, there's such a fragmented market. So we wanted to be that pan-India player, right? So every year we're opening a warehouse. As I said, we have right now 4 warehouses. But yeah, it's a very big strategic market for us. So this is where we are right now in terms of Shipskart.
Are you also planning to get to B2C? Let's say I'm on board. So like Sunny Europe, they used to send the guide to us and
So the problem with B2C is that so we have a feature, we have a feature where you can transact online with your credit card. We have that feature still now, still we have it. But the problem with that is that how do you check the authenticity of the user? Whoever can create a login password and then, you know, order something saying that I'm coming to this port,
oh yeah.
right? And we reach at that port, but it's a fake user. So it will take us a lot of time in first checking that the details are accurate. So we don't allow anybody from with a sort of a, you know, personal email address to we will
Okay.
not
Okay.
allow them to
Register, yeah.
yes, register, and if they can't register, they will not be able to
Login, yeah,
log in,
true.
right? So right now they can do it with our open-ended website, but again, as I said, that
But this is not the
B2C is
future.
not the
No,
B2C is
okay.
not the market for us.
Okay.
It has to be B2B only.
Okay.
So right now we're creating that catalog for, so in the next 6 months you'll see that we will have provisions, the top 30,000 selling stores, products, with their brand names, technical data sheets, you know, pictures, all information that you would require before buying that product online on the website. We already have about what 40,000 odd products,
Wow.
right? And we are doing this globally. So if you go to say Brazil or Argentina or US or Europe, you know, whatever you want to buy will have a brand name to it, like at least 40% of those products, because few products are generic products, right? A nail is a generic product. It doesn't have a brand name. Even the vendors selling them would not know the brand because it's a generic product, right?
True.
So other than those 60% product which are generic, the 40% that we will have brand names and pictures and description and all those things. So we will make it completely digital experience for, you know.
So let's say if you are you in collaboration with the UAE as well, like
Yeah,
UAE ports?
we have supplied supplied across 80 countries in the last 5 years.
Are there any licenses you have to take from the port, or how does it?
So we have onboarded the ship suppliers, right? So we are not supplying
You're
ourselves.
not supplying.
Ship suppliers are
You're a
supplying.
platform where ship suppliers put the products.
Yes, but
And you tell them, okay, this has to be delivered.
yes,
And
it's
the agent.
all online.
All
They submit the quotations online. They get the orders online, right? So we've become very stringent with suppliers using only the platform and nothing on emails, right? So we've been able to achieve that by 70%. So 30% suppliers we're still getting online. We've got the complete KYCs done by of these suppliers. So yes, so we are a marketplace of ship suppliers. Only in India we are a supplier ourselves.
Okay, so you're not charging any commission on the product? No.
So, we charge a commission from the suppliers. So they're using the platform to get more customers, right? So whatever like what Amazon would do, right? They will, whatever you sell on Amazon, they will take a commission out of it, right?
Okay,
So
from the seller.
from the seller, right? So we are taking a commission from the ship
But is there a
suppliers.
possibility that, let's say, anybody from the shipping company, know the supplier from your platform and talk directly?
Absolutely. So that's why we were not showing, when you use the marketplace model, we don't show the supplier names till the time the order has been confirmed.
Okay.
Right? So if you just want to use the platform with your own suppliers, then you have a SaaS model. So you can use the platform, all its features with your own vendors.
And that's a different model.
That's a different model, right? So see, there are bigger companies who would be, who would have better pricing than us, right? Right now we have like what? We are catering to 500 ships plus every month. And these, there would be companies who have basically who are giving more business.
So you were talking about 500 ships.
So we're catering to about 500 ships every month, and there are a lot of players in the market which give more business to which buy more every year than what we do, right? So they have better pricing than us. So for us to compete with them in terms of pricing is very difficult, and that's why we provide this option of just using the platform as a subscription and to integrate with your existing platform, and you can use it with your own vendors.
Dhruv, one question, because we are coming from the sailing background. How was your experience standing in front of investors and pitching them your idea to get the money? Was it like they knew you before, they're like, okay, let me sign the check for you, or how did that work?
No, no, yeah, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy.
Correct.
But as I said that I'm a very big, a very big believer in the power of LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, so whatever I've sort of got so far with Shipskart is primarily through LinkedIn, huh?
Wow.
Even the investors.
Very interesting.
Yeah, even the investors. So, I'm still learning the art of pitching. It's something that you never, I mean, at least for me, I have not mastered that
Is there a book
that I read.
Yes.
I wish it was that easy just to read a book and you learn. But I think, you get confidence by speaking at so many events, so many, pitching your
Podcasts.
podcast now, yes, pitching your idea to so many clients that that over the period of time you learn that what is working and what is not working. Shipskart as an idea is very interesting. So the idea is not a big problem to pitch, right? And we were pitching with a certain revenue already with us and profitability. So it was not it was not that tough to convince, but all these things, investments take time. So you have to go through multiple rounds, and then there would be a nod that yes, okay, we are happy to go proceed, and then there would be a lot of due diligence, financial and legal. So yeah, it takes time.
One question, Dhruv. If you are okay sharing the knowledge, how could somebody use LinkedIn to pitch their idea to investors? How did you use it, if you could just?
So I think what I've learned so far is that, I mean, you also must be using LinkedIn, and you cannot start by writing a big message during during your first conversation. So you have to first just generate that interest, you know, with that other person that you're interacting with, and politely just ask them for a call, that you have some, you know, some
Idea
idea
or some
that you
pitch, yeah.
need to
Yeah.
pitch or share. So politely just ask for a call, and if that is of interest to them, they will, I'm sure, reply and give you the email address. So the best part is to just take an email address politely saying that I would love to share what we are building with our company, and uh, share all the details with them over email, so that they can go through the email at their own sweet time, and yeah, and then get back to you. So not to be very over aggressive
Understood.
with a sales pitch
Yeah.
on the message itself.
On the first message itself. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that
So
I've
basically, you're
realized.
saying that if you have an idea and you have a decent group, maybe you can DM them and see how they respond to it.
Yes, yes, DM them and make a lot of connections. So what I would have, like right now, about 17,000 connections and about 20,000 followers. So
Yes.
so it helps. It
Okay.
helps. And again, this will not happen overnight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This happens, over a period of time. So
Step by
you have
step.
to
Yeah.
you have to sit on LinkedIn a lot, more than Instagram, right?
For sure.
So sit on LinkedIn and look at the various feeds, look at the people who might be of might be of some use to your business, connect with them, and then take the conversation forward. So this is
Yeah,
how.
this is a learning to me. I didn't know that LinkedIn could be used to pitch your idea.
Yeah, our first investor, Marina, somebody had actually tagged all the investors, maritime investors, in a post, somebody known to me, right? And I still tell him that, what a big, I always say thank you to him, because he's done for me things that I would have never been able to do it on my own. So he tagged all the investors. I clicked on each one of them and added, right? And Marina, our investor, she obviously had heard about the company, and she was very sweet to us. by
The name of the lady was Marina.
yeah, she's from TMV, a US based
Okay.
venture capitalist,
Okay.
US based venture capitalist, and so she messaged that would love to know more about what you're building with Shipskart. So we got on calls, and then thereafter 6 months later, she was on board. So once you have one investor on board, it becomes very easy for, once you have a lead investor on
Yeah, the
board,
network
once you have a
forms
lead investor
itself.
on board,
Yes.
then there is this,
So they were the first investors to you.
to come, but everybody came in the same round, right?
Ah,
But
okay.
then you have this, fear of missing out that all the other investors normally have. So once you get a couple of them, the remaining ones normally,
Then it becomes a Shark Tank.
yeah, it's easier for for other people also to come in.
But it took time for funding to be realized in your company.
Yeah, so it takes close to 8 to 9 months always, right? So we the first $3.5 million, $2.77 million that we raised, which was an oversubscribed round. We wanted to raise only about 2 million,
Oh,
but
interesting.
there were more people wanting to put in money than us wanting it. Uh, so that we signed the term sheet in November 2021.
Okay.
So that process took us about 6 months, and from the term sheet stage to getting the money in your account took another 5 months. So it is a long process.
Yeah, but since you know that things have happened, so eventually it will come, and you were like,
Yes, but till the time the money is not in your account, you're never very
yeah.
yeah. You will always have this feeling because feeling of investors backing out last moment.
But there's no papers they
No,
signed.
they sign the papers, but it is not something that you
You
cannot
could
terminate.
legally, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
correct, understood. Okay, so Dhruv, why don't you talk about the mentoring and networking when it comes to starting your own venture as a person sailing on the ship?
You're asking me that I should be mentoring people?
You should definitely be, but I'm saying that what is the importance of having a mentor in your life?
Oh, it's of it's very significant, very significant, and especially because we sailors, we stay in a bubble, in a cocoon, right? And
Very true,
maybe not
very true.
now, but during our times, how much exposure did you have to the outside world? Hardly,
Nothing,
right?
nothing.
We were getting news till the first, at least the first 7 8 years or 10 years, we were getting news on email, right? And the captain used to, you
Yeah, I
know,
remember the pilot used to bring the newspapers on
yeah, so
board.
we in fact for us we were having this subscription of with a
Oh,
company
I
which used to
forgot the
send
name. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Times of
Correct,
India,
correct, 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 correct.
Times of India's
Amos Connect.
copy paste the
Correct.
news and send it across as an attachment in Word. So you had very little access to the outside world. There was hardly any exposure. You did not know what's happening, right? Now, obviously, there is internet, Starlink, and VSATs. So people are reading news. They can watch news. So they're very updated, right? There's LinkedIn, but f- again, a turning point was in 2018 when Mr. Shesh joined us. He's been with us since what, 6 years now? Yeah, 6 years. Always been with us, right? So it was definitely a turning point. So much so that I remember not knowing what to write to influential people, how to write an email. Like I've never written these formal emails, right? So he's actually held our hand and
Wow.
taught me that this is how you actually write emails, and he'll write it for me and give it to me. So you require somebody like him who basically would be with you, and because there would be a lot of depressing days also. The life of a
True,
founder
true, true.
is very hard. Financially, you're not doing well. Then there are issues with the company. Then obviously there would be personal issues as well, right? Just for somebody to understand that and keep on mentoring you and telling you that this is a phase, this too shall pass. And so it's very important, very important. And I'm glad that we actually have a lot of such people, like him in this industry. You just have to reach out.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I mean, when it comes to mentorship, um, it's very difficult for being a sailor having a mentor because as you said, it's like हम लोग तो क्या बोलते हैं उसको कुएं के मेढक टाइप Money is coming.
No exposure.
Money is coming, but there's no exposure, no networking.
But I think everything has changed, Rajat, now. Everything has changed. People are very exposed to the outside world. They know what's happening around the world. They are very, they have this entrepreneurial mindset now. They want to do something of their own.
True.
So I think everything has changed now. And there are too many people to help them now.
Is there any innovation in Shipskart?
Is there any
that you
innovation
want
in
to talk
Shipskart?
about? Yeah.
So yeah, as I mentioned, that we are bringing in a lot of AI-based features. We already have a lot of AI-based features. Like we have something called predicted pricing, something called. So basically, your ship is going from Singapore to China to Dubai. You will be able to check the prices in Singapore, China and Dubai at one go,
And
then
decide where you want to.
decide where do you want to buy, which
Very
is the
interesting.
cheapest port to buy, which is the most competitive port. So we have these features, on the platform already existing. Track your truck is not AI enabled, but yes, again a feature, predicted pricing. So you've got a historical. Uh, so we offer you live pricing, right? Live pricing, which is given by the vendors only. But what we do is that there are 10 products in a 80 product requisition, where the prices have been expired, right? So there you can use predicted pricing. You can click a button, predict the price. So it will, basis the historical prices that the vendor has given, it will predict the price. So even before, approving that quotation, you know that the quotation would be this much. So you know it for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're working with such vendors these are consumable products, right? So the price escalation would not be so much in the next in the couple of months, right? So the price might be just the same or just maybe $1 up and down, right? So which will not bother you, but you will save so much of time. There's hardly any turnaround time when you already have the pricing, so you do not require a lot of admin. You will basically remove a lot of administrative tasks, and
Like somebody who's looking for pricing.
just connecting with vendors,
Good
getting a
idea.
quotation, negotiating, asking for all the details. How many requisitions. So basically, if a company is having 1,000 purchase orders in a month, say, they're having 3,000 emails with only delivery notes and invoices.
My goodness.
So if you are a captain, right? So you receive some stores on the ship, you will then send the delivery note via email, right? Then the vendor will send the same delivery note via email that, see, I've delivered everything to the ship last night or 2 days back, and then after 2 days, the vendor will send the invoice. So for every one purchase order, you're receiving 3 emails.
True.
With about 6 to 7 people in CC.
True.
Right? Imagine a purchaser handling about 300 or 400 purchase orders in a month. His inbox.
Insane.
So we're basically removing that part, right?
Very
So it's complete digitalization.
Very interesting.
So we are working closely with the vendors, because machines cannot, do this, right? You have to upload at least a delivery note, or else you make it so easy that the captain can check there and then on an app and say, okay, fine,
True.
But ships don't have the time to check everything at that time, so they just write subject to check on board, and they do it.
True.
And they check it later.
Yeah.
So we're removing these gaps that are not covered by ERP softwares.
Where do you see shipping industry in terms of digitization in next 5 to 10 years?
I think we are at the cusp of digitalization. I think it's a very good time for people like us to be in the industry, because, as I said, cusp of digitalization. Now the companies are more open to digitalization. They would want to know about your product. They would want to do a pilot with your product. I'm not saying this that all companies would do such a thing, but people are more aware. The management is more aware. If you do not join the digitalization curve, then you will fall behind. Yes, you will fall behind. So people at the management are wary of this. So it's not something very difficult. That if you have a great idea, something which is really of interest and something which really helps with the digitalization process in the industry, people will take note of it.
Interesting.
Though our industry is like 50 years behind the normal.
Yeah, I mean, I was having the same conversation with Vikas. So he gave a very nice example. I mean, the reel is already out. You could also check. shipping industry is 10 years behind the world technology.
Easily.
He gave an example of internet. That's true.
But now internet is changing.
Yeah.
But if you if I ask you that how many apps are there for, in the
Not
maritime
many. Not
industry,
many.
you can just count on your
Correct.
fingers, right?
Correct.
So, and I mean, when you stay, especially in India, you will have apps for literally everything.
Everything.
Everything, right?
Everything.
It's so
Yeah.
easy. It's so digitalized.
True. True.
So yeah, but as I said, we are there, and people are open to hear new ideas.
Okay, Captain Dhruv, how do you want our young mates and masters to go ahead with their career in life? Should they keep sailing? Should they look beyond? Should they get into AI? What suggestions do you have for them?
I think it's very honestly, it's each to his own. Like whatever anybody. So I have still know people who just want to sail,
Okay.
and they are very happy with sailing for 6 months also. They are uh, they've actually tried shore jobs, and it
Yeah,
has
after a
it,
while you
it
can't.
it
Yeah,
hasn't
sure.
worked out well for them because they feel that they sail for 6 months and they just enjoy life for 6 months, and so it works for some people, and it doesn't work for some people. However, now it's not like even if you leave at a second mate level or a chief mate level or a third engineer level, you still have so many options.
So many options.
At shore also, if you want to be an entrepreneur, then also. So there are many options for people to pursue. You don't really have to sail as a captain or a chief engineer and then quit.
True.
You can quit anytime you want, and there are plenty of options that you can pursue. So, but it's a very personal
Personal
question. So,
decision.
yeah,
Correct.
personal decision. It's
Correct.
each
Correct.
to his own.
What has been the most fulfilling part of your journey from being at sea to leading Shipskart as a founder?
Fulfilling part of my journey. Um, I think actually the answer is in your question only. It's a journey which is very rewarding, right? I think what the marine industry, the sailing time gave me is helping me now in Shipskart because it gave me great people that I worked with, people who later invested in our company, people who went on to be our clients. So I made the connections, I made the network, I made relationships during the sailing time. So that's something which is very fulfilling for me. That I met the best people, in later stages as an officer, and even as a cadet. So yeah, that was very rewarding. You don't meet such amazing people because on ship you're in isolation, like you're very lonely. So you get close to a lot of people, you discuss, you share a lot of things. So eventually you do get close, right? And I've worked with these people day in day out, weeks on weeks together. So yeah, that friendship is something that I take out from the sailing life, and obviously it's made me the man I am today. You know that you can
Yeah, very
basically.
interesting. Correct, correct.
But Chipscart is a challenge every day. It
I mean,
is,
startup and,
yeah, it's a challenge every day. So,
for sure.
um,
But you enjoy that challenge.
yes, pressure
Very
is a
interesting.
privilege.
Correct.
Pressure is a
Correct.
privilege. So, not many people have it, and not many people can handle it, right? So, yeah, I enjoy the pressure. Sometimes it becomes too much, so you get a little irritated. But on normal days, I would enjoy it.
Okay, one more thing, Captain. If you could go back in time and give one advice to your younger self, what would that be?
Okay. I think to be more fearless. I think I was very timid when I was, I was always very scared of, you know, making a mistake. So I think be a little bit more fearless. Um, that is something, and try out things. Be more fearless. That is something that I'll and be a good learner. I think I would, in the fear of doing things, like I was not maybe a very good listener at that stage. Maybe some people would say I'm still not, but I think I could have been more fearless in my approach to life, in my approach to work.
Okay. Also, one more question, Captain. On a ship, you have, let's say, 25 crew under you. here also you have, let's say, 90 people at this office under you. What is the difference between handling the crew on board and having, a colleague group or colleague circle here? What difference do you find?
I think a couple of differences actually that comes to my mind. Obviously, handling people, different people requires different skill sets. But there, if those 25 people, are under me, and I am I would be their boss till the time they don't leave the ship,
True.
right? And if there is one bad element in those 25 people, I'll have to still do with him, maybe talking to him nicely or in whatever way I can, but I'll still have to manage the show with him, right? Here it's different. If people don't like the boss, they can change the boss. If
You don't like them.
yes, so here it is a little different, but there it's more close knit. You're talking to them, meeting them every day. Here it's people are scattered, right? So we just had an offsite, so that's the time when you're getting all the good people, all the people who have worked very hard, who've done something remarkable for the company in terms of whatever job profiles they're having. So that's a time when you actually meet people. That's the time you talk to them, because here you don't get that much time. At least I don't get that much time to interact and mingle with everybody. So yes, it's a different challenge here because everybody is scattered. It's not they're not at one place.
True. What advice you will give to mates, masters? Just one word I want to listen from you.
I think very hard to say in one word, but I think if I have to give a short advice, it would be that we're in a great profession, and you know, 90% of the world trade is carried by ships. Such a typical line that everybody says, but it's a great profession, and sky is the limit here. Don't be satisfied. Have that hunger to do other things.
For some reason, I knew that you would say that. Don't settle.
Yeah, I mean, don't be satisfied for something. Just be a captain. I think there is one life. This industry has so much, so many departments, commercial, chartering, and operations, ship chartering, cargo chartering, um, crewing. There's so much in this industry, right? And now we have people like you doing podcast also. We have other people doing other things, right? So there is so much this industry has to offer. So don't be just satisfied. Have that hunger to try out different things.
Grow.
Have that hunger to grow. Yes.
All right, Captain Dhruv, that makes me open my laptop and start the quiz.
Oh wow, there's a quiz also.
There's a quiz. Let me open the quiz for you. All right, Captain Dhruv, let's start the quiz.
Okay.
First question. What is the internationally recognized distress signal?
Oh wow.
On the radio, what do you say?
Mayday, Mayday.
Which country has the largest merchant fleet in the world?
Merchant fleet in the world, largest. China?
Greece.
Greece. I was saying Greece was the second answer. Yeah. Okay, but okay.
Okay, what's the device that records a ship's location, speed, and course, often referred to as a black box?
VDR.
Perfect. What is the term for the document listing all the crew members on a ship
Crew list.
or a muster?
Master list.
Who is responsible for the cargo and stability of the ship?
Chief officer.
All right. Which flag indicates a vessel is taking in, discharging, or carrying dangerous goods? Name of the
Bravo.
flag. Bravo. Yes. What is the process of removing salt from seawater to make it drinkable?
Desalination.
Ah, I didn't expect this. Interesting.
Because I failed in EK, that's why.
What is the equipment used to communicate distress signal via satellites?
Via satellites. EPUB.
Perfect. What is the point at which a ship pivots when turning called?
When turning,
What is the point called?
alteration of course.
Pivot point.
Pivot point.
I mean, the question
okay,
is
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I did not get the question. Okay, okay.
What is the instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure on a ship?
Oh God, just wait, okay. Let me.
Easy one.
Yeah. Meet. Bar graph. Barometer.
Barometer.
Bar graph also, right? So
Yeah.
that also much.
What does the G stand for in GMDSS?
Global.
You know the other name of this GMDSS? Medanda Subhay Sham. We used to say that. What are specialized charts for the safe navigation of harbor and coastal approaches called?
What are the
Digital charts.
EGDIS?
ENC.
ENC charts, yes.
ENC
Okay.
charts. What is the international code for I am altering my course to port?
Okay. I'm altering my course to port. Two short blast? Two short blast. I
Yeah,
think
that is India.
India? No. That's in the ROR book now. So I think one short blast, I alter course to starboard. Two short blast, I alter course
But
to
that is
port.
India, right? Did.
Yeah, correct. Did.
Yeah, did. India.
I think so. It's two short blast.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
But
too.
I think I did. This is the most interesting part because I don't remember anything from
For the sailing, from the sailing
from
days.
the sailing time. Yeah.
Yeah, but Captain Dhruv, it's lovely connecting with you, knowing your story. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being.
Rajat. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Captain.
you.
Guys, so today we had Captain Dhruv Sawhney, who has explained his journey, how he became a startup founder from sailing. So if you have any questions, I will definitely put your LinkedIn profile in the description. Please go through his profile and maybe you can ask the question. Thank you so much for joining today. Signing out from Port to Port. Bye-bye.